Hello and welcome to the ulti.TV live show. I'm Steph Pazzo, and today I'm joined with some of our sport's finest competitors. Our guests are all well-accomplished ultimate players and coaches and good upstanding citizens. Unfortunately, today's conversation with these ultimate stars has very little to do with what's happening in our sport right now, not due to the pandemic, not due to participation restrictions, but rather to bring attention and exposure to the current situation in Colombia. We hope to shed light on the situation as it's a story that has been lost with the global mainstream media. Many Colombians have taken to the streets and on social media to share what is happening in Colombia, and we are honored to use a sports platform to assist in spreading this message and informing as many people as possible how they might assist in one way or another. I'd like to introduce my guests so we can get a better understanding of what's going on. We have Neeno Melo from Cali. We have Santiago Perdomo, also from Cali, from Vuela Abuela desde la Línea. From Medellin, we've got Manuela Cardenas and Andrea Trujillo. And from Bogota, we have Luis Rodriguez. Thank you all very much for taking time to join us. It's great to see your faces and to be able to hear your voices. Neeno, could you start us off and give an explanation of how this situation started? What began in Colombia approximately 2 weeks ago?
Okay, Stefan, thanks so much for having me y hola para todos los que estamos aquí en esta llamada. Hello to everyone. Thanks for give us this space. Well, from my point of view, 2 weeks ago, uh, people was going to the street because the government proposed a reform. They propose a reform that people are not agree with that changes. They try to put some new rules that people are not agree with that, and people go to the streets and start to strike about that. In the beginning, also because we was facing, I think, a very bad management about the reality of the world, about pandemic, about COVID. We also have like a very bad management about that. People was tired. In 2019, we have a huge, very similar situation that people are going to the streets and try to protest for the reality. After the COVID strike, everyone was in lockdown, but 2 weeks ago when this government proposed this reform, everyone go to the street and start to protest. The protest in the beginning, the aim was that about this reform, and but also there is a lot of other problematic that we have in the past that come together with all this situation. And in the end, the repression that we start to have in this protest start to be more hard and start to be more repressive. Uh, Also, we face in some reality that people uh, use this protest to start to make thieves in its place and start to make um, damage some parts of the cities. But also, after the time, we realize that it's not the people who is protesting doing this is more it's a way that the same governments try to sabotage the protest and make it not real, make it not as a social movement like it is now, and people start to realize and open their eyes what happened and what the government don't want to have a table of discussion with all the people. They only want to talk with them and try to solve this problem with the same right extremist, and they don't want to hear the people, they don't want to hear anybody, and start to have more repression, and at the end we have a situation that the repression in some of the cities are very hard. We have cut of internet power, we have cuts um, of of some cities are totally closed that don't have a very good reception of internet, of energy. Also, a little bit of struggle uh, to have the all the things that the cities need. Yeah, I don't know if I'm explaining well that thing.
No, I think you have explained how it happened very well. That's a good start of what's happened. I think we're going to move the conversation around a little bit with the others. This has maybe we can have a discussion where this started, what city this began in, and how it looks in different cities. Maybe Manuela, you're coming from Medellin right now. Uh, can you explain what your perspective on this, how it's been either in the streets in Medellin or what's happened since this started, as far as what you've seen so far?
Okay, so as Nina told all of you, that started 28th of April. That not like in the first point it started because they reform, and then like all of the problematics that we have here in Colombia like come together have been in the protest, mostly in the all of the last that we have in the days, and I was there, and all the protests that was like peaceful, and the police were they were who came to us with the violence. So like now like people over here like we like can't keep going because we know like this could be like a huge change or could be like a new begins for Colombian. I don't know how to explain that in English, but for the Colombian like culture, because we have been here for the paramilitary stuff, and that culture is like is still like so huge over here. So now like we can see like a lot of people, like for example my family was, I could say, was like a uh, like a right extreme right, and now like they're listening to, or like they're listening like the different perspective that is really happening in Colombia in the last year. So now like what I see is like people is like seeing a different stuff that they have been seeing for a lot of years, because they normally, like we could say like the huge problem is like no the access to the information here in Colombia, and mostly for the old people, or also like for the young people that doesn't have access to the internet. So now I think the protest and all of the impact that this protest is doing is different and could be different this time. I've been, as I told you, I have been there in the first one. I keep going over there, and the people want to change. And as Nino told you, that's not us who are starting like all of the violence. That's them. And yeah, I could, and here we are like trying to organize, we are trying to recollect money. People from USA and around the world is helping us a lot, and trying to give food to the people, because some people like just come to protest and don't have like any food to eat. But now like we are trying to like to make all of this a better organization, and like trying to have like the points, are trying to have like the goal that why we are doing that like in the front, and not trying just going out to protest just because going to protest. So that's what I could give you from here to Medellin. I think also Andrea, she knows this pretty well, more than me for sure, and she could give us like a better like perspective of what is happening, and why is this moving taking that much like force and that much like noise from everywhere. Sorry.
Well, thank you very much. Let's hear from Andrea next. Then, Andrea, you can continue with that. Maybe tell us how that situation has been evolving by your perspective from when it started till now. How the repression has turned violent, and what that means. How the Colombian people can continue to protest if they know there are some severe and horrible consequences if they continue. So yeah, go ahead and give us your perspective here. Uh, we Is it possible you are muted? We have no audio at the moment. I don't know if that's on
Okay,
yours. There we go.
yeah.
Yes, thank you.
My English isn't very well. I will speak in Spanish and maybe Neeno, Manuela, or can translate me. Esto es una acumulación de una historia muy larga de violencia que tenemos y de desigualdad. En Colombia tenemos unas brechas muy altas entre los ricos y los pobres. La
Okay.
acumulación de riqueza. ¿Vamos de a pocos?
See,
Okay.
better. She said that we have a very long history of disequality in our country between the rich and the poor, if we're saying what in one way, because rich and poor is in your head, not in in your pocket. Uh, Sorry, that is extra for me.
Eh, we have, tenemos despojo de tierras, acumulación por parte de ganaderos, paramilitares y represión en todos los niveles.
We have people that is moved from their lands because they got the farms for cows and get all the cows and all the lands that the cows needs, make this a paramilitary movement to move people from their homes and get land from the cows. That means this is also part of the problem.
It's like 50 years in this dynamic. So for the people is enough. Entonces la gente necesita salir a las calles. Esto casi que es anualmente que tenemos una situación como esta. Antes de la pandemia teníamos un paro nacional que la pandemia apagó, pero este año en el que se incrementaron los niveles de pobreza para la gente. Además, las malas medidas desde la salud pública para evitar que se contagie más gente, la falta de oportunidades y estas reformas a los impuestos, pues entonces es como una bomba, una olla a presión que iba a explotar en algún momento y es lo que estamos viviendo en este momento en las calles.
Well, that since 2019 that we have the protest that came with all these problematics and all the disequality and all the bad management about the pandemic is like a time bomb that just exploded here in Colombia. And the 28 when people was tired about that reform that put more taxes to the poor and free taxes for the rich people, that was a time bomb. Also, was a phrase of our minister who say, I think the I don't know if you can correct me, guys, but I think the bomb, the moment that everything exploded when in the television here in Colombia, one of the guy who's the minister, el Ministerio de Hacienda, the minister for yeah for I don't know how I say Hacienda in English. If someone know, please help me.
Like
Hacienda is like a part of the government who management the prices of the food management. I'm walking here in hot floor, but it's a guy very important in the government who need to know what happened with the people, and that
okay.
guy go to the television and in an interview say that a dozen eggs cost 1,800 pesos. And if you put that in the reality is around 10,000, 12,000 pesos. But in that moment, all the country realized that the people who is in front of us don't even know what happened with us. and that was the bomb. And everyone go to the streets, and everyone go to the riot, and start to happen this. But I will give a space for other people to talk.
Uh, okay, we may go back to Andrea. Let's move to Santiago right now. Santiago, you can give us some perspective. Continue on this. Maybe explain a bit more about what Nino's talking about the time bomb here. The reform they made, the change, how it affected the people so much. Why they made this change? It obviously has a negative effect, but tell us exactly what it does to the people. The change that the government wants or has forced.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm so pleased to be in here. Nice to meet everybody. Well, the situation in Colombia is terrible. Right now, I'm in Cali. The expression of the people is tired. You know, all the people is tired of the high prices. All the people is tired of a lot of injustice that there is in the real life of the people. You know, the people is tired, so this change of the government, the tone is like a bomb, like a time bomb. We have a lot of past, like Andrea says, we have a violent past, and when the people is tired, are hungry, the people reacting, you know, and the cops in these days are treating so bad the people. We saw, I was in the street. We are right now in the 12th day of protest. I was out 7 days of this, and the people is resisting and fighting for his rights in the streets. And there are no crimes. Our students, our workers, our teachers, our sportsmen. There is a lot of common people than all the official media from the government says that there is a crime and there is a lot of bad people in the street, blocking the streets and making robbery and a lot of things, but this is false. The reality is the people is in the street fighting for his rights and fighting for a better life. We need a government who take care more of the people. You know, the people vote for you. You need to care about all these people, and you are doing exactly the different way. So the people is in the street. This is the 12th day in Cali right now. Are 11K points where the people don't go to sleep. They are in the streets 24 hours and fighting and resisting, and all the people are supporting with food, with water, with a bed to sleep, with a lot of resources. All the people stay in the street and fighting for all the people. And I think the situation of violence affect all of that. You know, we know a lot about the spirit of the game. We know a lot about self recognition of all our feelings. But when the people who have the power pressing you a lot with all these facts, with economy, with the cops, with a few opportunity for the young people, the people is tired, and all the world are looking that in this moment, are seeing that. So from Cali, this is the way. This is the way that the people are feeling, the people are living, and I'm so happy for have this part, this opportunity to tell to all the world about that.
Well, this is we're very happy to provide this small opportunity. We hope there's this is the least we can do. Of course, you talked about having what's being taken away is basic freedoms, human rights violations happening here or happening there in Colombia. Uh, I might move to Luis for the next question, but what is it that how can the people achieve freedom here? Is there they're fighting this government oppression? The more they protest peacefully or not, it seems the more the oppression resists. There's more fight back from the government, which is very horrible images that we see. Is there a way the people can find a victory or find their freedom back? What is it, or what or how can you see a potential resolution here? Is that something you see, or could tell us a path to get there?
Well, there is always the great hope, of course. It has been mentioned before that this is not a recent situation. It is just the accumulation of, I would say, centuries now of oppression, because the people that protest today are the descendants of those who were abused before. Meaning that this is like one way of helping, I guess, is also knowing deeply, and this is for the rest of the world, the history of Colombia, because what happened after the liberation wars from Spain is that the soldiers who were the peasants, the black communities, the indigenous who were slaves, were enslaved by the Spaniards. They freed themselves, but the people that was in power were the descendants of these Spaniards. Just they just threw away the crown, but the power remained the same. So ever since the liberation, the supposed liberation of Spain, these communities have been outside of the scope of the government. They have had to move constantly outside of the known border of our nation, starting from the cities. All these terrains were open and created by the peasants and these farmers, indigenous and black communities that were from the early stages of our cities displaced and thrown away to look for better luck outside in the open countryside. So when they created this border of agriculture, the citizens came again to displace them to a farther frontier. And so the frontier of agriculture and production in Colombia expanded through violence, through expropriation, through illegal possession, in which city cartels of politicians and public officers gave letters of proof of property of land that didn't belong to mafias, that later, after they grew all their power through agriculture and the early stages of petroleum, they found out in the 20th century, after the second half of the 20th century, that drugs were very profitable. So these landlords that used to be cattle raisers became new drug dealers, the producers. So, and the power and the ownership of this land and the blindness of the government for that recognizing that the displacement is the source of the problem is what has to be overcome. What has to be, yeah, it has to be changed because the in our cities, the new neighborhoods that are all the time growing are from these displaced communities, and these neighborhoods grow constantly. Every day there's people arriving. In this situation of violence right now, there might be thousands of people arriving in all our cities, 100 to Bogota, maybe 50 to Medellin, right now, in this very minute, displaced by some type of violence. And victims, the problem of the government, of the politicians, is that they think that victims forget. But if your parents were murdered or disappeared or dismembered, and you have to be displaced to a city, and 20 years later the government comes and tell you that he's going to be to keep being this abusive entity, your natural reaction is to resist. So this is like the peace theory speaks about this spiral of violence, which is a never ending. The source is identified, talked over, agreed on, and then we can find solutions. So the elite, the economic elite, which is now the politicians and is together with the mafia, they are the ones who can truly make steps forward into changing the situation. But it's hard. It's like changing capitalism, because we are like Colombia, and I'm gonna close with this, is a failed capitalist state because we are not, the government has never been able to provide freedoms for all the citizens, and it is full of corruption. And the capitalist theory, the liberal economy, cannot allow corruption. And we know that the capitalism is based in the idea that everybody is free. So if the government is not able to provide freedom for all the citizens, recognize all ethnicities, recognize all communities, and this, all the things that happen inside the country, I don't think there's a way forward. Thank you.
You're welcome. That was a very passionate delivery. It sounds like, as many of you had said, this is the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. This was the last thing they've done. But even if they turned the reform backwards now, there's still much more at stake for the people of Colombia. It's more than just this. This brought the people to the street. So we hope that the protesting, we hope the best for the people of Colombia, that they can get their freedom back one way or the other. Maybe it's a little bit at a time. The fighting has to bring some good, we hope, but we know that's a very difficult situation, fighting a government that wants to maintain its power, of course. A few of you mentioned the way that this has been reported. I know a big reason why we want to have some exposure for at least the ultimate community is because this has slipped past the mainstream media in many ways. It's not really being globally reported for maybe many reasons. How is it being reported in Colombia? I'll give that to anyone. Or what is your assessment? Maybe Andrea, you can share your thoughts, or Neeno, anybody at this stage. How is it being reported there, and what are you people being led to believe
I
by what the media says?
I just a journalist, but I don't work in that area. But a lot of friends work on that, in that. So it's very difficult. It's very dangerous. You don't have any guarantee for be your work, for do your work. Tenemos grandes persecuciones a los periodistas que hacen bien su trabajo. Tenemos muchas violaciones al derecho de expresarse. Los periodistas, ser periodista en Colombia es un trabajo de alto riesgo.
Okay, let me translate that if you want. That is, be a journalist in Colombia is a high risk work. They are, it's a very difficult to make the work right now. And to complete all the things that Andrea just told, is in the beginning, since the 28th of April, I think all the people who was in the street start to broadcast about what is happening, and was the people through the social media and through his own lives to start to show to everyone what is real happening. And this is the reason that right now we have internet cuts, that we have internet power cuts, because, and also that we start to realize that Facebook, Instagram, and all these social media start to block us and start to block all the information that we have from Colombia, because this narco paramilitary government is trying to block us and try to hide to the world what is happening. In the day, you can see people dancing and going to the street, doing all the protest and walking, but as soon as the night arrives, it's a nightmare. It's a totally nightmare in a lot of cities in Colombia. I think just last 2 nights in Cali, there is a people for the south of Colombia who's called La Guardia Indígena, some people indigenous that are just arrived to Cali to help in the security way, and they are helping to show to the world what happened and show to everyone what is the real happen. And the last 2 nights, they found that the police and it's the government who is trying to infiltrate the protests and send people to kill the Protestants in the streets. They already got some of these police that is uncovered doing that stuff, and it's very difficult to them to don't show this reality. That is the reason that we have very huge cuts, that it's very difficult to find information, that the videos will be censored, and this yeah, that is the reality right now. I think in some of the cities of the south, the situation is a little bit harder than in other ones, but the information, as soon as I start to spread it out, people is open the eyes, and it's already realized that police and the narco paramilitary government is trying to put a dictator, a dictadura, a dictator.
Dictator.
Yeah, a dictator is clear every day with this. For example, recently I saw a video this morning that there is a lot of people from street art that just paint a lot of big murals in the streets, you know, uh, protesting against the government. And this morning I saw a video from people from the government, directly from the government, painting again and covering this. There is censor also, the street art are censored. And even in the video, these people tell to these guys they will kill them and I will shoot you. And I have the videos, and it's incredible. It's incredible. It's
It's
magic
horrifying.
realism.
Insane.
Totally Colombia's magic realism, to say in a good way.
That's absolutely horrifying. From my perspective, being in North America, but being in Europe, the only way I see this is from people's social media accounts, and talking with people. There's many people who still have no idea that there is a situation in Colombia, and again, that's the reason that we wanted to do a small part to have different
Yeah,
avenues to share these stories. And as much as we're sharing these stories, there is no perfect solution that we may know, but exposure and more people who know about this, the more people who know about this, the I guess it will make the situation a little bit better, one small story at a time.
definitely.
Let's try
Uh,
and get to ways that people can help outside of Colombia. What is it that
yep.
that people might do besides knowing the stories? I'll leave that up to any of you to, if you have a way of either sending donations, whatever it is. Whoever would like to answer that, I would be happy to share these ways to help.
Yeah, look, sorry, Stefan. To close
Oh,
I will give you the word to Luis after that.
okay.
To close the idea and to have a little bit of similarity. You remember the situation with Stephen Lloyd in the United States? How
Uh,
long was the protest for that situation and how many deaths?
uh,
I don't have that numbers, but I know that if we compare with the 12 days that we have here in protests, we already have 43 kills and 980 disappears person. In 12 days, 980 disappears persons from the police and for the government that we don't know where they're. The ways
it's
to help, there is a lot. I know a lot of teams in Colombia are doing collecting and are doing groups to help. I know from Cali, Flota, Karma, Apaches. There is a lot of teams that are trying to help. I know that also Revolution create uh, like a program or something in their page that called Reacciona to try to help all this. Also, I think maybe Milan later we will share some of the links that we have and we try to collect to try to, if you have help or collaboration or any type of stuff that you want to put in, to have the mediums to do it. And yeah, Luis, please continue.
yes, Luis, you can share. a bit more. Some of the links are being put up as we speak, but yes, Luis, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a short concept about what peace building is, and it's finding ways through empathy, non-violence, and creativity to be able to resolve, reconstruct, and reconcile. When you talk about theory, this sounds like utopic almost. But if we are citizens on the street, if we are decision makers, if we are in our jobs, if we are with our families, and we apply these things to our surrounding, empathy, creativity, non-violence for reconciliation and resolution, we can transform. That is the only way forward. So education, talking, talk about the feelings that you have about being an ultimate player. How has it impacted your life? The changes that you have seen around the community, because we're all part of a big community that has suffered changes, most of them for good. I know where you guys come from. I've seen the communities where you live, the changes that you have lived throughout these years. I'm talking about the top players here, for example, Mrs. Cardenas, Santiago, who is also trying to become a top player. They are young still. The three other us, we are older. We have already lived the changes that we had to suffer, and we are impacting our families and our life in that way. But you guys can tell the story to your teammates, the younger generations, because that is the only way forward. Education and applying what Ultimate teaches us, a spirit of the game, but let's bring it down. Let's be empathic, let's be non-violent, and let's be creative. And I just wanted to link this last of a little bit of theory in practice, because there is a campaign club in Bogota, uh, excuse me, Aerosol. This is the one campaign I'm aware of, but I have already asked through my social networks if there are other campaigns so that we can start like pushing this ball, this snowball forward. This is from Aerosol. They are offering a bank account in which you can give some, you can send resources, and they are using this for redirecting into places where they can provide first assistance to the first liners, actually. So this is one thing that I'm aware of, but through our networks, Project Play Colombia in Facebook and Instagram, you can connect with us. And if you have any questions about how you can connect with the people on the first line, or how you can support education through Ultimate, we are more than ready to hear you. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for anybody who can't see on that screen, that's Aerosol, Aerosoul. That's the Facebook and Instagram tag, as well as aerosol at Gmail to contact them, along with all the other information on the screen there. Let's have a quick word from everybody before we will finish off with this show. Manuela, anything else you'd like to add? Is there any ways to support that Revolution, I think, is doing that you might be able to mention and let the people know?
Yeah, okay. Before Revo starts doing like the campaign, since the 29th of April, I've been receiving a bunch like of donation from USA. And what I have been doing, I have reported all of this through my social media. Have trying to find contacts all around Colombia and trying to send money to all of them. For example, the first line, people from that is giving, ¿cómo se dice? Primeros auxilios.
First aid.
First aid, yeah. First
Okay,
aid.
so yeah, we have until now we have been receiving like 3,000 bucks. I have been trying to distribute all of that through all of Colombia, not just here in Medellin. All of the places that have been affected very much for that. And what I have been trying to do is trying to have a close contact with all of them, trying to connect, for example, to the leader of the first line of Pasto, to the letter first line of Ibagué, and trying to do all of that. And with Revolution, what like we are trying to do is like trying to connect people that have a needs and trying to have a people to have something to offer. So they have all of the information in the Instagram and all of the social media, and the people can like fill a form saying if you have something to offer, or people if you have something to need, like for example money to buy food, money to buy stuff for protection and all of that, or and maybe also like helping people with the mental illness. So you can find all of the information in Revolution. Also, like if you want, like also contacts where you can donate, you can also like find me and can direct you to places that really needs like that also really needs that help.
Okay. Thank you very much, Manuela. There is a link there, but also check Revolucion on Instagram and the socials, and you can get even more information. I checked out the forum. I think it's an awesome initiative for the people in Colombia who need help, and the people in Colombia who are able to help. But I think even more so for the people around the world to be able to help. This is a great way to show some support. Get on that link and give and tell the people in Colombia, tell Revolucion that you are able to help, you want to help. Sign that form and get on it. Let's move around the circle here. Santiago, is there anything else you might want to add as far as support or last words for the show? Santiago, do you hear me? Let's move to Andrea then while we're waiting for Santiago.
Em,
Andrea, anything else you would like to add?
ok. Hay varias formas en las que las personas que están en el extranjero pueden apoyarnos. La primera es haciendo presión en sus gobiernos y en las embajadas que tienen en Colombia para que el gobierno de Duque pare la masacre. Eso por un lado, presión política. Segundo, compartiendo la información de lo que está pasando aquí, hablando de esto con sus amigos y amigas. Y tercero, pues las donaciones en dinero, en recursos, que ya sabemos que hay diferentes formas de hacerlo, pues Revolución tiene una, Aerosol sacó otra. Yo hago parte de una organización social que lleva 15 años trabajando en Antioquia y Chocó especialmente. Trabajamos con personas que hacen parte de los firmantes de paz y con organizaciones y colectivos culturales, artísticos en las ciudades. Nosotros también iniciamos una campaña para apoyar a las personas que están haciendo la labor de derechos humanos, de protección de derechos humanos en las marchas y en las manifestaciones. Por ahí también les compartí el link y por ese medio también podrían hacerse donaciones que llegarían a estos colectivos en Medellín, especialmente que están haciendo trabajo y acompañamiento a los chicos que están marchando.
Nino, maybe you want to help us
Okay,
out.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
understand
yeah.
a little bit,
Too
but
much.
I take notes. I
if you
take
can,
notes.
yeah, if you
First,
can.
the first point for sure is political pressure. We need to have political pressure in all the embassies, in all the areas and outside, and people try to help us to pressure and make this narco paramilitary government go down. The second is visibilization, help us to make this the reality reply this reality and help us to make visible. And the third, as all the other participants told us, yes, this kind of support from outside we will help a lot. Andrea is part of another platform to help in Choco and Antioquia, all that area, and working 15 years ago with this. That means also she already shared another link that you can provide help. And yeah, I think that was.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your thoughts, Andrea, and for your translation, Nino. Santiago, I think you're with us now. Anything else you can add for people to support or final thoughts?
Well, I think that one of the best way to support of the Colombian people is having knowledge of the situation of Colombia. Looks how the government treat his people and treat the people who are in the streets protesting and fighting for his right. We need to share all the good and the bad things that we saw on the social media, but the security department of Colombia uh, can verify verified this all of these videos and all of these files, excusing with they they are, oh, these are past videos from the past, and these videos cannot from the actual actuality, are avoiding the topic. I am avoiding all of this that is happening, and we need the international committees and all of the international teams working of these human rights in Colombia. So I think this is the best way. The people saw for his own eyes what is happening and what is the way of the government treats his people.
Okay, so people out there, make sure you are proactively finding out what's going on. Don't wait for the information to come to you because it may not. Go find out. You see some hashtags here. You can follow all of these wonderful guests. You can follow, get the real story, be educated, and you'll have better access to help and to know what's going on. Luis, we'll move to you for any final thoughts or anything you would like to add to what our other guests have said.
Yeah, well, of course, I'm happy to see everyone here who has their view, and I'm giving just a call out to everyone out there to just keep resisting, because this is the only way. I'm an educator, so I just would like to everybody who's listening, who's an multiplayer, to imagine that you have been playing a game that in which you have been, not only the rival has not accepted the calls, but now is doing physical, deliberate actions against you. And this game has been going on for 200 years. So we would like the government to accept the calls, and we would really, probably everybody here agrees that what we do after we accept a call is that we restore the rights of the person that was affected by the action that we committed. So we would really like to see the rights of all these citizens that have been transgressed for over 200 years to be restored. I think that we're also never think of the long term, and this is a process of, if we have been in this process for 200 years, maybe it will take us, I don't know, probably less, hopefully less, but it will not take a few weeks or a few years. But we can tell people what's happening and how to live better lives through equality, inclusion, and having the notion that restoring the rights of everybody is something that we can do. If we can do it on the field, we can do it outside. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a great analogy, and we'll move to Andrea right away here. Andrea,
Mm,
please elaborate or continue on with Luis' thought.
ok. Hace poco Manuela me invitó a conversar con las chicas de Molly Brown acerca de la historia, de esta historia de la que habla Luis, de 200 años de guerra, y creo que eso es un punto inicial muy importante que podrían optar. Si alguien está interesado en conocer esta historia, nos puede contactar perfectamente y conversaremos más íntimamente sobre esto que nos está pasando, y quizás desde ahí salgan nuevas alternativas para ayudar. Manu, no sé si quieres traducirlo.
Neeno,
Uh,
or
okay, I can
anyone?
help
Manuela, go
with
ahead.
yeah.
Jump in.
Andre, like that was 3 months ago. The Molly Brown, my team, which I played, they have trying like to educate their. So we have like a long conversation with Andre, which she explained all the history, like I mean, a huge part of the history with the Colombian and mostly what Luis told us. So that could be like a way that they could also like helping us like also like trying to educate themselves, seeing what their government or what their country have been involved in the story of, for example, of Colombia. So I also like give me the idea and trying to get that record, because I know that we record that if we can like put down social media and trying to educate people and trying to show like this is not as we this is for me. As Andrew told us, this is not just in the last 2 years. This is something that have been there for a lot of years. So yeah, that's what I understand. Something that I added a
Okay,
little bit.
so find a way to educate yourself not just on what's happening right now, but how it happened over the years, and of course wherever you're living, how your government may interact with the Colombian governments, whether to help or to produce or to import export, whatever it may be. The more we know, the more that can be done. Most certainly. Uh, you guys have been wonderful. Neeno, I'm going to pass it to you. If you've got anything else to say, any other avenues of support that you might share
Yeah,
before we're going to have to wrap it up.
yeah. I also want to visualize that some activities, besides of all this support that we can help, there is some other activities from players in Colombia right now. For example, at the right time that we are doing this meeting, there is some games inside of the protest that people are taking 3 versus 3 games of Ultimate to teach people how to resolve conflicts. How to with the sports we resolve conflicts. We use this tool. We know in Colombia that ultimate and flying this sport is a tool for peace, because we can teach through the sport and through a game how to solve and how to dialogue, have a conversation with someone and get a solution. I mean, this is vital for us. And I want to visualize these guys who's doing this, and try to convocate this around all Colombia, and still doing. Thank you, Stefan. Thank to Milan. Thank to all you guys to make this possible. It has to start somewhere. It has to start sometime. What better place than here? What better time than now?
Rage Against the Machine. It is time.
Yeah.
I definitely got your lyrics there. Well, listen, you guys are playing a very difficult game if we put it in Louis' eyes, but as Neeno said there, we know how to play this game. We know how to do it right, with pride, with honor. But you are fighting for freedom, and all we can do is do our best to support. This is a small avenue, like I said, but any avenue, any way we can get this message out is helping the people in Colombia right now, and any help is a huge help. So those of you watching, please make sure you follow those links, get on, chase up, get yourself educated, and donate. Whether you're helping by understanding what's going on, whether you're helping out by helping the people who are being the most oppressed right now, having the most difficult times. There's help in many ways that you can provide. So let's show the Colombian people why our ultimate community is so magical, why this game is so good, why it teaches such great values. This is your opportunity. So get out there and do it. Thank you guys so much, my guests. I know it's very difficult to find the time to do something like this with everything in a normal life. It's difficult to find time with a life that has so much turmoil every day, it seems, over there right now. To be able to take some time, we are at ulti.TV are very appreciative of your time. So thank you very much. And to our listeners and viewers, like I said, do your part, get on, help out. Finally, I would just like to uh, get I guess I don't even know how to finish this off. I really want people to get behind this operation, to help out. It's knowing and listening and clicking and liking on social media is good and it's fun, but there's always more that you can do. So find a way to do more. Help this situation. These human rights violations should never be stood for. So let's make sure they are not stood for. Do your part. I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thank you to my guests, Neeno, Santiago, Andrea, Manuela, and Luis. You guys are awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. We wish you the best of luck. We wish you safety and your freedom. And we will hope to see you on an ultimate field, rather, the next time when we're all happy. But until then, fight that good fight, and be well. Our best from ulti.TV. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Steph. Thanks
Gracias
to
por el
all. Thanks to
espacio.
all for
Fuerza,
this
amigos.
space.
Fuerza, amigos, fuerza.